Situation we'll be watching as the heavier rain moves in tonight and tomorrow. In the Northeast, a beautiful day, heavy rain in the Southeast, and we could see some isolated thunderstorms in the northern plains today. That's a look at the weather across the country. Now here's a peek out your window.
And another nice day out there today. Temperatures close to 80 degrees under a partly cloudy sky. Those small rain chances will be moving in later on today, especially overnight as we hover in the mid-50s. So get ready for some showers and thunderstorms in the overnight hours. And our 7-day outlook does show the rain continuing through Monday before clearing up by Tuesday and Wednesday.
That is your latest forecast.
All right, Dylan, thank you. So much has been said about the Queen's presence on the world stage, but behind all the pomp and circumstance was kind of a less formal, she was even kind of a lighthearted queen.
And funny, too. Funny as well. While much of that side of her life was private, didn't stop Queen Elizabeth from becoming a towering figure in pop culture. She now is here with that aspect of the Queen's legacy.
I think it's an important part of her legacy. Good morning. Queen Elizabeth spent her entire life in front of the cameras as her record-breaking reign made her unmistakable image recognizable across the globe, inspiring artists and actors alike. Her royal image became iconic during her 70-year reign. Queen Elizabeth II, dressed in eye-catching colors and her signature pearls, always accessorized with that top-handle handbag in the crook of her arm. It's no wonder Her Highness has inspired everything from street art to pop art, T-shirts to coffee mugs, and of course, TV and movies.
The Queen has been depicted in popular culture more than any other person, really, because she is a global icon.
Countless stars across the globe themselves starstruck by her presence, including Hollywood royalty Meryl Streep, fashion icon Anna Wintour, and pop star Lady Gaga. But it's the world of fiction that truly had a ball with the Queen's likeness.
Arise, Sir Austin Powers.
She's been portrayed on film and imagined in animation.
Gentlemen, do not steal ladies' crowns!
And, of course, spoofed in sketches.
I want to get away from you.
No, you can't get away from me because I'm on the money, ain't I? I'm on the money, then you're on it.
Prince Harry speaking with Hoda earlier this year about his grandmother's unwavering ability to laugh. What's the best thing about her?
To be honest with you, it's her sense of humour and her ability to see the humour in so many different things.
While only a select few had a chance to see the lighter side of the late monarch, millions have wondered what went on behind palace walls. The drama played up on the silver screen with an Oscar-winning performance by Helen Mirren in The Queen.
As a matter of fact, is how I think best on my feet. You know, I've never been one for sitting around endlessly.
In 2016, Netflix's The Crown helped spark a renaissance of royal fascination.
It's not as easy as it looks.
But beyond the dozens of depictions, nothing came close to the real deal. Those rare features of the true Queen never failed to steal the show.
Good evening, Sir.
From her grand entrance with James Bond at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in London, to a tour of the Game of Thrones set, where she could view, but not sit on, the Iron Throne.
And we kept getting told the same thing, which is she's not allowed to sit on other thrones, fictional or otherwise.
The iconic Queen and all of her glory, leaving an impact on pop culture that will continue to carry on. You know, everybody was smiling when we just played that piece there. That's what I'm saying. There's so many layers to her.
Well, I think it's fascinating because our grandparents knew her in their pop culture.
Yes.
Our parents, us, our kids, and the Minions. I mean, she's
a really good point.
around for
You're right. It's a really good point. You're right.
For 9 in 10 people on the face of the earth, she is the only monarch that they've ever known.
Sure.
So.
All right.
SG?
You know what's so interesting about what you just said, Dylan, is that a lot of the folks here, when they're asked, why are you here? Why did you come? They say, my grandmother loved the Queen. My grandfather stood on the side of the street when King George's coffin passed. And I'm here not only to honor the Queen, but to honor my own grandparent because they so loved this monarch. So it is really multi-generational, as you said. Well, coming up next from here in London, there were sparks right from the start. A fond look back at the Queen's epic and enduring love story with her beloved Prince Philip. But first, this is Today on NBC.
horrible. Great. Time for another one of these.
Bite into the new Primal Burrito or Biscuit with prime rib at Hardee's. See Jurassic World Dominion in theaters June 10th.
Look, we knew the other side would make up lies about me to scare you. Now they're claiming I want to defund the police and abolish ICE. That's a lie. I'll make sure our police have the resources and training they need to keep our community safe. And that our communities have the resources to stop crime before it happens. I'll bring back manufacturing. And I'll pass a middle-class tax cut. And if that's too scary for Washington, then so be it. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Fur, you won't faze me. Unlike Zyrtec, Allegra won't make me drowsy.
Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin. So take Allegra before allergy symptoms take over you.
And new Allegra Hives works from the inside to relieve itching and reduce hives for 24 hours.
So, what do you think?
We're prepared to offer cash.
When you get great deals at Denny's,
$5.99.
You'll start to expect great deals everywhere. New all-day diner deals starting at $5.99. 10 delicious meals only at Denny's.
Sure, it's nice to have my 3 older kids home to visit. Oh yeah, I love coming home. I miss having soft water.
That's why I bring my laundry home on the weekend.
It's so much better for my hair too, but you wouldn't know anything about that, Corey.
Well, that's why my hair looks so nice and moisturized.
What do you know about moisturized hair?
Well, having 2 older sisters and a brother who only showers a couple times a week helps.
Well, actually, 72 years of treating water in Wisconsin is our family story. You kids are pretty well versed in water.
So let us make your family's water better today.
Next to Market Watch, numbers. Boring. In more delicious news, there's a buy one famous star, get one for $1 deal at Hardee's.
Bite into the famous star today, only at Hardee's.
We come in live pictures now of King Charles III as he arrives back in London, not as he departed, Prince Charles, but as king. After the passing of his mother, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, yesterday. The king's schedule is largely unknown at this point, but we do know he plans to address the nation, address the Commonwealth at 6 o'clock tonight. That's 1 o'clock Eastern time. And Queen Camilla, the Queen Consort, as she will now be known, is with him there as well. So we will continue to watch the movements of Prince Charles. As mentioned, there is quite a tribute growing here at the gates of Buckingham Palace, and it would not be surprising to see perhaps in the coming days Prince Charles and Queen Camilla come here and pay their respects as well. Well, as we reflect on the Queen's historic reign, we want to highlight something that lasted even longer, her love story with Prince Philip. NBC's Kelly Kobiea joins us now with a closer look at the real-life fairy tale. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. And gosh, it really was a love story for the ages, and the world got a front row seat almost from the beginning. Now, with her passing, the Queen is finally reunited with her soulmate. A romance that aged like fine wine. Side by side, the Queen and her prince went through a lifetime of celebrations and tribulations for more than 7 decades.
Quite simply, been my strength and stay all these years.
It was love at first sight. The Queen, only a princess in 1939, spotted the dapper and towering 18-year-old Philip while on vacation and immediately became enraptured.
And she fell desperately head over heels in love with him.
Like any great romance, their bond was put to the test when Philip joined the Royal Navy during World War II. But their courtship continued long distance.
It was a correspondence love affair, really. They wrote letters to one another.
And with each letter, their feelings flourished until Philip returned from war and asked the future Queen's hand in marriage. It was the wedding of the century, broadcast around the world in 1947.
Londoners slept in the streets to see their future queen and her husband.
But their quiet home life in Malta didn't last long. In 1952, the sudden passing of King George VI would thrust the princess into the spotlight. At 25 years old, she became a queen, from princess to monarch, and from wife to matriarch. At the coronation, Prince Philip bent the knee to swear his allegiance to her.
He was always quite the alpha male, so having to take a step back and follow his wife as she became head of state was a big adjustment for him.
He gave up his work and stood by her side, making a life together sprinkled with humor.
Tolerance is the one essential ingredient of any happy marriage. It may not be quite so important when things are going well, but it is absolutely vital when things get difficult. And you can take it from me that the Queen has the quality of tolerance and abundance.
They were married for 73 years until Philip's death in April of 2021 during the height of the COVID pandemic, the Queen having to mourn alone in the church as she said farewell to her life partner, leaving a handwritten note on his casket.
But for me, in the months since the death of my beloved Philip, I have drawn great comfort from the warmth and affection of the many tributes to his life and work. That mischievous, inquiring twinkle was as bright at the end as when I first set eyes on him.
And the Queen will be laid to rest alongside Prince Philip in the Queen's family chapel inside that grand St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, the place where they both loved, the place where they spent their last few months together. Savannah?
All right, Kelly, thank you. We want to turn now to NBC News Royal contributor Katie Nichols. She's the author of The New Royals, Queen Elizabeth's Legacy and the Future of the Crown. Katie, it's good to see you. Good to have you here.
It's lovely to be with you.
Gosh, when you talk about a relationship that spanned 73 years, I was so touched by her spending her final days in this beloved place at Balmoral,
Yes.
which is the very place it said that Prince Philip proposed to her. How have these last 16 months or so been for her without Prince Philip?
Tough is the simple answer to that question. Very, very difficult. This was a couple who were together for 73 years. I mean, just think about that. That is longer than some lifetimes. And so the Queen, I think, depended on the Duke of Edinburgh in so many ways. I mean, there was a complete reversal of roles here. She was the matriarch of the nation. She was the head of state. She was queen. He was the patriarch of the family. I mean, she wore the crown. He wore the trousers when it came to home life and family. He was a modernizer that she depended on. I always remember that my experience of being with them was how much she depended on him. She looked to him to break the ice. You know, the Queen, as hard as it is people to imagine, was actually naturally very shy. Philip was an extrovert. You know, he'd walk into a room and you'd know he was there. More often than not, he'd crack a joke so that you knew he was there. And I think the Queen found that very comforting. She depended on him in so many ways, and I don't think it's an underestimation to say that she wouldn't have been the monarch she was without the Duke of Edinburgh by her side.
But it's fair to say, wouldn't you think that both grew into the roles?
Totally.
I mean, people have certainly heard that it was hard for Prince Philip in those early days, trying to adjust to being the man behind the throne.
Yes.
How did they come to a peace and come to a way of working together?
Well, I think that, you know, from the beginnings of their relationship, you know, Philip ultimately knew, as hard it was going to be, that he would have to give up his naval career, that he would have to fall one step behind his queen. He was marrying not just the woman he'd fallen in love with, he was going to marry, well, he was marrying someone who was going to be a queen one day. So I think that understanding was there. That's not to say it was made easy. I think a large chunk of him resented having to give up his naval career, but he did it and focused on creating a new role for himself within the royal family. And so ultimately they complemented one another. This was a working partnership as much as it was the most enduring and wonderful, beautifully romantic love story.
In the end, it really was.
It really was. And I don't think she was ever the same when he left.
Oh, Katie, thank you so much. Well, a lot of people have been just daydreaming and imagining that perhaps they're reunited somewhere in the heavens.
Now.
Yeah, Katie,
Yes.
Thank you so much. Hoda will send it to you.
Yes, you're here, Savannah. Coming up next, something else the Queen was fond of. A bright suit. You may not think of it as power dressing, but there really was a good reason behind those instantly recognizable looks. We're going to break down the Queen's fashion legacy. But first, this is Today on NBC.
These are actual crime scenes across Wisconsin. Yet Mandela Barnes supports defunding the police.
The minute you talk about reducing a police department's budget, then it's like all hell breaks loose, and everybody acts like you're signaling Armageddon. But that's not the case. It's about reallocating funds.
And where did your tax dollars get reallocated to? More police security for Barnes. Mandela Barnes. Less safety for you, more for him. Wisconsin Truth Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Olson Solar Energy would like to thank everyone who has trusted us with their local solar installations. And to those of you still considering solar, give us a call to set up a free evaluation and get your project booked in 2022. Discover the benefits of a lower or no energy bill and take advantage of federal tax credits. The time is now. Go green, save green with Olson Solar Energy. Come see us at our grand opening celebration in Altoona on March 5th.
How would you like to convert your old sit-down bathtub into a modern, spacious walk-in shower? It's more affordable than you may think when you call Mad City Baths. Get a gorgeous, easy-access walk-in shower installed in your existing tub space, or choose a barrier-free shower base for better accessibility. Customize with grab bars, shelves, handhelds, and more. The best part? We install in as little as 1 day. It's a great time to call during our Upgrade Now, Pay Later event. Receive 24 months, no payments and no interest, senior and military discounts. And for a limited time, purchase a new bath or shower and receive a $250 Mad City gift card. Use it as an instant discount or apply it to future home improvements. And be sure you call during this program to get extra savings with half-off labor. From Wausau and North Central Wisconsin, call 715-941-4238. That's 715-941-4238.
We are back. We're coming up on 8:50. Another side of the Queen's legacy, her impact on fashion. Her signature style was instantly recognizable and as much about the function as it was about the fashion. Robin Givhan is the senior critic at large at the Washington Post. Robin, it's so good to see you. You know, when we think of the Queen, I can see the look. I feel like she's had this look. It's her signature look. How did this come to be?
Well, I mean, I think it grew out of necessity and an understanding of her position and her duties. I mean, I think, you know, it's really a bit of a misnomer to call it fashion, because fashion by its very nature changes dramatically over time. And the Queen's look was really a uniform, and all that implies. You know, it was meant to convey her position. It was meant to, in some cases perhaps, convey authority and a little bit of intimidation. And also it was meant to allow her to be seen, because for so many people, you know, they were never going to have a personal encounter with the Queen. It was about being able to say, I saw the Queen. And her attire made that possible.
You know what, so I saw this great picture on Instagram by the Home Edit girls, and it shows the rainbow. It shows her range of colors all the way through. And I think you just pointed out something so important to underscore it. She wanted a connection with the people who would never actually be able to see her up close. That was very important to her.
Yeah, I mean, she wanted to, I mean, she really understood that, you know, in the crowds, the throngs of people who would come to see her, she needed to be visible from the farthest reaches of the room, of the space, of the, you know, of the plaza. And her style allowed that to happen. And I think there's also, I mean, she's a complicated person for a lot of people. And in many cases, the attire was meant as a kind of olive branch, a bit of diplomacy, a kind gesture, just in choosing to wear things that were reflective of the place and the history.
And she always carried a little bag. I always wondered what she put in there, but she always had a little bag, a hat and a little bag, right? That was her other signature, and a brooch.
Yeah, I mean, her style, I think, was quite formal, and, you know, it obviously endured through many ups and downs and shifts in the fashion universe. And, you know, people always were sort of curious, what on earth is she carrying around in that little handbag? And, you know, I think for some people it connoted this idea of sort of a grandmotherly sensibility. But, you know, my understanding was that she often had little sort of mementos and trinkets and things that were important to her inside the little bag.
Yeah, such a signature style for her. Robin, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much. We are back in a moment. But first, this is Today on NBC.
Did you know you can start your 4-year degree locally and get the same college experience closer to home? From the moment you step onto our campus, we'll be there for you, supporting your dreams, saving you money, and giving you a well-rounded academic and social experience with student housing, clubs, sports, and leadership opportunities. With NTC's liberal arts transfer degree, you can start here and go anywhere, including guaranteed transfer to UW-Madison, North Central Technical College. Transferability made easy.
Like most people, I bust my butt day in and day out. I earn every dime of my paycheck. It's the Wisconsin way.
But Governor Tony Evers supports paying welfare benefits to people who won't work, even after they turn down job offers.
That's a disgrace.
That's a disgrace.
It's a slap in the face to hardworking people like us.
Tony Evers should know better.
Tony Evers should know better, but he doesn't.
Tony Evers, our failed liberal governor.
Do you love to sew, quilt, or embroider? Get the brother machine of your dreams. Tomahawk Sew & Back is celebrating its 39 years in business and still going strong thanks to you. Get up to 39% savings on all brother sewing machines, embroidery, and quilting machines in stock, and free instructional classes on all sewing and quilting machines. Tomahawk Sew & Back Anniversary Sale. It's our biggest sale of the year.
Dear Senator Johnson, living on a fixed income, it's a struggle. I paid into Social Security and Medicare every paycheck. So it was a slap in the face when you voted to weaken Medicare. That would increase out-of-pocket costs. And when you wanted to let Wall Street gamble with Social Security, Senator Johnson, you look out for yourself and your fat cat donors, but have forgotten about us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Live look right now. Prince Charles, the now King Charles III, makes his way from the Royal Air Force Base where he landed moments ago from Scotland back to London. And we can report now he is headed this way, headed to Buckingham Palace, where it is expected he will pay tribute to his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, as so many throngs of people have been doing all morning long. I was so struck when I saw the lines really early this morning, a quarter of a mile, half a mile, growing, very thick. People coming here and willing to stand in line just to lay a flower or to write a note. We'll have much more. The King expected to address the nation tonight at 6 o'clock local, 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll carry it live, guys.
And for more coverage, be sure to check out Today All Day on Peacock or your smart TV throughout the day and over the weekend as well.
All right, we're back after your local news and weather.
Oh, great. My wireless bill just went up.
Should have gone with US Cellular. They aren't raising prices on any of their plans.
Seriously?
Yeah, my price won't increase.
Well, that is refreshing. I feel like everywhere you turn these days, prices are going up.
Supply chain got us too. Don't get me started on the overhead costs.
At US Cellular, every plan for everyone is price protected.
You know, I respect a female entrepreneur.
US Cellular, where every plan is price protected.
This is your News Watch 12 Today update.
It is 8:57. Good morning. I'm Jackie Smith. The Northwoods is full of rich history, including the chronicles of John Dillinger's time in northern Wisconsin. In the 1930s, John Dillinger was high on the FBI's most wanted list. The delinquent hid out at Little Bohemia Lodge in Manitowish Waters in 1934. Almost 9 decades later, the famous shootout at Little Bohemia Lodge holds a lasting impact on the community it hit. The Historical Society traced his steps and what led to the shootout. While the FBI wanted to get the gangster in cuffs, a handful of locals from the community were trying to leave the property.
There were 5 men together, and the FBI assumed that they were gang members. And as they drove off, they did not halt because they could not hear, and the FBI opened fire on them.
3 people were killed after exiting the back porch at the wrong time. The shootout as a whole had a detrimental effect on those who were trying to keep the law and order in this area. The Historical Society is now adding a new monument to remember the victims.
It's a piece of closure, that this wasn't just a, oh, shoot 'em up, exciting weekend. It affected the lives of many people and affected the lives of many people permanently.
The monument will honor those killed and injured by the shooting. The project is fully funded, but they are waiting on the monument to be completed. A ceremony will be held for its unveiling at the community center next summer. And then moving on to weather, hope everyone's going to be able to get out and enjoy this nice Friday because the weather is supposed to take a little turn this weekend, but for right now, it's supposed to be pretty good, right, Conrad?
Yes, it is, Jack. Yeah, hopefully everyone enjoys themselves today. It is Friday, so it's almost the weekend, and not quite, just a couple of more hours. And then it's the weekend. It's almost Saturday, but more rain comes with that. Right now, we're just under some partly cloudy skies, some more thicker clouds in the northwestern part of the state, closer to Ashland, Duluth. Lots of rain showers and even some thunderstorms there. Dew points are not looking too bad right now, in the upper 50s. They will continue to slightly rise later on today, but by the weekend, they will really drop. They'll be back into the 50s, so it's really going to feel really comfortable outside. Wind speeds, not a big issue either, but they will continue to increase later on today, as our 7-day outlook does show rain moving out by Monday night into Tuesday, and then lots of nice weather Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
He wants to be a firefighter, a doctor, a teacher, and he wants to be their governor. But Tim Michaels said funding public schools is the definition of insanity.
We're already throwing so much money at education.
He drained millions from public schools to help fund private schools in Milwaukee, and even consider ending the Department of Public Instruction. Tim Michaels wants to be governor for 4 long years. But what matters more to you, his future or theirs?
Howard Young Urgent Care. Get in, get out, get well.
This morning on the 3rd hour of Today, remembering Queen Elizabeth II, the people of Britain mourning the only queen most of them have ever known. A look back at her unprecedented 70-year reign, her place in history, and how she balanced monarch with matriarch. Plus, the future of the royal family. What to expect from King Charles III, his historic first speech today, and how life now changes for Prince William. And the Queen's indelible mark on screen, how Her Majesty became a pop culture icon. That's all ahead today, Friday, September 9th, 2022. This is a special edition of the 3rd hour of Today, remembering Queen Elizabeth II, live from Studio 1A. And a good Friday morning to you. Welcome to this 3rd hour of Today. On this historic morning, the nation of Britain, people around the world mourning the loss of Queen Elizabeth II, a guiding force in that country since the 1950s. Right now, a live look here. This time yesterday, Prince Charles, now King Charles III. He is en route to Buckingham Palace. There's the live look right there as King Charles III makes his way through the streets of London. He is expected to arrive at Buckingham Palace just a short time from now. Crowds have been gathered there since the news broke yesterday, and they arrived to see this striking image. Not just one rainbow.
Isn't that amazing?
A double rainbow across the backdrop of that gray sky there in London.
That image is breathtaking.
Yeah.
A sign that she's okay. That she is okay. Well, not far from Buckingham Palace this morning, a tribute at Westminster Abbey. The bells at London's legendary church tolled this morning at noon local time. Churches across the country also did the same. And just moments ago, another salute. Guns fired 96 rounds outside of Cardiff Castle, one for every year of the Queen's life.
And then back at Buckingham Palace, the memorial for the Queen is growing as more and more people arrive there, shedding tears. They're laying flowers, cards, handwritten notes. They're all paying their respects.
Again, right now, as we mentioned, King Charles III back in London on his way to Buckingham Palace. His wife now, Camilla, Queen Consort. He is going to be paying tribute to his mother there. A live look at the vehicle, as you can see it's making its way through the streets of London. That is also where we are going to find Savannah Guthrie, awaiting the King's arrival. And Savannah, you've been among those crowds there at Buckingham Palace for several hours now. What were your initial impressions when you first arrived?
Guys, I walked over here from the hotel, about a 10-15 minute interview walk, and I was so stunned by how many people already were lining up and so quiet. so respectful. I mean, we've all seen crowds where it can get kind of unruly and people start jockeying for position. It isn't like that. People are quietly waiting their turn no matter how long this line is. They want to say thank you to their queen. It's really a beautiful moment here where the whole nation feels like it's stopping, pausing, and collectively grieving, but also collectively expressing gratitude. That's the thing you hear a lot. Just thank you. Thank you for 70 years. Thank you for weathering the storms. Thank you for being a solid rock, or as the Prime Minister said, the rock that the foundation of modern Britain was built upon. That is the feeling you have here. And the other thing I'm really struck by, and I was joking about it with Wilfred Frost, our colleague here, I said, you know, it seems like the Brits are always known for their stiff upper lip. When you ask people, and I don't care what age, male, female, who it is, so many people will say, I'm here because I loved her. I loved her. It's not I liked her, I admire her, I want to say thank you. I loved her. And there is really that feeling of true affection for this queen.
Very well said. Thank you,
Savannah. When we hear from King Charles in a few hours, what do we expect we're going to hear from the king? The new king.
This is a pre-recorded address. It's expected to air at 6 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock Eastern time, so just a few hours from now. And this will be his first chance to address the nation. One presumes he will mourn with them and reach out that olive branch and collectively say, yes, I mourn with you, and then set out a vision for the future and how he plans to lead and continue in these great footsteps that he must now fill. He's on his way, as you can see there, and is expected to pay tribute at these gates.
Savannah Guthrie on the ground for us there in London. Savannah, thank you. We'll see you in a bit.
This morning, we are also reflecting on the remarkable life Queen Elizabeth lived. Her 70-year reign is unprecedented, and her devotion to the people of Britain was evident until her final days. For more on her legacy and life, let's bring in NBC senior and international correspondent Keir Simmons. Keir, good morning to you.
Hey Chanel, good morning, and you're right. In the days ahead, you're going to see plenty of pomp and pageantry and extraordinary tributes to this remarkable woman. But I wonder whether the most important lessons from her life happened just in the past few days. Because what we saw was a working woman who carried on working until her last days, and a woman who lived through the Second World War, who even until the last refused to leave her post.
Britain woke this morning without its queen of 70 years, the beginning of a new era. This is the last public picture of her, at the home where she died, her beloved Balmoral Castle in Scotland. The Queen smiling, appointing Britain's new Prime Minister, just days before her death, determined to do her duty, her final act in a lifetime of service. Her children, son Charles, now King Charles, racing to be by her side. Grandson William, now next in line to the throne, driving his uncles, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, to say their last goodbyes. Prince Harry, appearing distraught, arriving just after his grandmother's death was announced. The royals' grief, private, while in public, on royal gates, a simple proclamation. Queen Elizabeth II died peacefully, and as flags across the country were lowered, a rainbow magically rising above Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle. Crowds spontaneously singing the national anthem.
She's the person we've always looked up to Michael. It's just a sad day. Just a very, very sad day.
She's been a role model for so many people, Old-fashioned values, everything that we could ever have wanted and more besides.
Tributes from world leaders, including US President Joe Biden, arriving hour by hour. Queen Elizabeth, so much more than Britain's longest-serving monarch. A global icon.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Your Majesty. Diplomat and, quite simply, a steady presence in people's lives. Born in 1926, the third grandchild of King George V, for 7 decades, Elizabeth would guide the nation and its monarchy through historic challenges.
My lords, pray be seated.
And all that while balancing motherhood and monarchy. 3 sons, a daughter, and a daughter-in-law, Diana, whose death rocked the royal family. She embraced many changes, including the marriage of her grandson, Prince William, to Kate Middleton. And later, Prince Harry to the American actress Meghan Markle. She celebrated the birth of 12 great-grandchildren. But in 2021, she lost her cherished husband of 7 decades. Queen Elizabeth continued to inspire people around the world. Just this year, her Platinum Jubilee celebrated with a military parade. Joined by 3 future kings, Charles, William and George. Today, King Charles will lead his country in mourning. His sons, William and Harry, united in grief. Harry travelling back to London this morning. The loss of their much-loved grandmother, bringing them together. And guys, the newspapers this morning really summing up the feelings of a nation. The front page of the Daily Mail. Our hearts are broken. And let me just show you another, which is a broadsheet, the Daily Telegraph, and they've printed a picture of the Queen right across that broadsheet. I have to flip it over for you to see. And they've used the Queen's own words on the death of her husband to try to express how this nation can get over this. It says, the grief is the price we pay for love.
Ooh, that's good. So, Kira, as you're showing us now this outpouring of emotion, Savannah just talked about it. Yeah. How are you feeling, and how did you process this news? Listen, we knew eventually this day would come. It's one thing to know it, and it's another thing now to be in this situation.
Yeah, I can't believe it. And that's a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it? I, of all people, should have known it was coming. But it's something about the fact that just a few months ago she was on that balcony, and it's something about just it all seems to happen so fast, even when it's somebody who's elderly, who's 96. Anyone watching who's lost someone, even an elderly relative, is going to know exactly how this feels. And, OK, she wasn't my relative, she wasn't millions of British people's relatives, but there is still that feeling because of that connection that you have with members of the royal family. In many ways, they try to be, and they sometimes manage to be, and the Queen certainly was able to be all of our family. A feeling I had today, guys, again, people will know exactly what this is like. And I said it earlier, you're getting on with your business, you're distracted, and then suddenly it hits you again. The Queen is dead.
Wow. Beautiful. I mean, she's been such a constant for so long. Yeah.
Generations.
And she's gone.
Thank you, Kira.
Thank you, Kira.
Thank you.
As that memorial grows outside of Buckingham Palace, we're also seeing some really moving tributes all around the world. This was the scene in Paris overnight. The Eiffel Tower's lights went dark in tribute to the Queen. Meanwhile, here in New York, the Empire State Building lit up in purple, a color associated with the royals, and the building had a silver sparkle as well. And I'm not sure you can make it out there, but the Queen had actually visited the Empire State Building during her royal tour in October of 1957. This was the scene there.
How different New York City looked then.
These photos show her on the 86th floor, the United Nations General Assembly, holding a moment of silence, and so did the New York Stock Exchange here as well.
What's on your mind today in this moment?
I don't know. I have no connection to the Queen. I have no connection to Britain in general, yet I feel sad. I heard the news, and it just kind of, it's a weight that hangs on you. And I've covered Royal Ascot, the horse race that meant so much to her that she attended. And I posted a picture, that at one time I laughed at because I got in trouble for taking the picture. But there she is. You can't miss her in her lime green suit and hat there. She's behind me through glass. But, at the time, it was like, oh, my gosh, I'm right next to the Queen. And now it's like, wow, I really was right next to the Queen. And it's just special to have, have that memory.
I agree with you. So I covered the royal wedding. And for me, it felt like, this Kansas girl going over there, And in that moment, I realized the magnitude of the monarchy, right? So I was there for Meghan and Prince Harry. And you saw all of those people. And I tell you what, everybody who was around me in that moment, they were from all over the world. I mean, from New Zealand. I was from Kansas. There was somebody there from St. Louis. There were other people there from, it was a moment.
A live look here at Buckingham Palace as the newly crowned King Charles III making his way through the throngs of people who have been assembled there outside that palace since word came down yesterday that their queen was dead. And there is the new queen consort, Camilla, formerly the Duchess of Cornwall. And there he is.
And, as we look at these pictures, it's almost what we were just talking about with Keir. Listen, you lived your life knowing that this day will come. And then within, 24, 48 hours, his life is forever changed.
And he lost his mother.
And he lost his mother, so he's grieving.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is striking about this particular picture, this resembles in so many ways the scene back in 1997. Princess Diana had just died. Queen Elizabeth, who was on vacation at the time, she made her way to Buckingham Palace to do precisely what her son is now doing, greeting the mourners, saying hello.
I'm actually surprised to see him.
But you know what?
They're shaking.
And I think that this is a powerful moment. The fact that he's grieving, he recognizes the magnitude of the monarchy as well.
Right.
And a lot of people have been wondering, how is he going to handle this? How is he going to be? And so I think by coming out and getting out of there and shaking these folks' hands, it's such a beautiful gesture, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's a connection.
It's a
with
connection.
The people like his mom.
Yeah.
And one of the reporters alluded to it earlier. I mean, she was to the world the queen.
Yeah.
But to Charles and to Andrew and to the other two children, she was their mom. She was mom. Here's a man who lost his mother less than 24 hours ago.
I think he also recognizes, because she means so much to so many, such big shoes to fill, and I think he's trying to approach this with grace as well. And it's almost assuring to those people that, listen, it's going to be okay, and I'm here,
Yeah.
And he is bringing a smile to their face.
Yeah,
this
no, I
morning
think this is a beautiful gesture.
What remains to be seen here is whether Prince Charles is going to make some perhaps spontaneous remarks to the crowd, or whether he is going to continue to work the receiving line, if you will. From this vantage point, you can see the new king talking to those who have assembled there, the mourners, the grievers, and right behind that, the shot just went away, but you saw what Savannah alluded to earlier, the flowers, the cards, the tributes that have piled up outside the fence there at Buckingham Palace. You can also see some of these folks are smiling and laughing, and some of them are visibly sad.
I saw one of the notes, as we were showing the flowers and the tributes, that actually said King Charles III. I wonder if he will ever get his hands on those to read what the people want to say to him at this time.
And there's no question. I mean, look at this large crowd. It will continue to grow. And just to put this in perspective again, I mean, we just lost Prince Philip. I mean, he died, in April of 2021, so just last year. So in the last couple of years, we've really had a shift there with the monarchy.
King Charles III arriving at Buckingham Palace. We'll continue to monitor this scene outside Buckingham Palace. We'll take a quick break, the third hour of today, right back after this.
I'm not like those other hotels. I'm what you call boutique. I'm into intimate conversations, leather lounge chairs, and soaking up the city's atmosphere. I'm looking to provide a more unique experience. Do you like single origin coffee over a game of chess? Me too. And don't you just feel like everything sounds warmer on vinyl? I do.
One day, you might realize it's time to switch things up. And that's what being a member is all about. Because when you're with Amex, it's never a question of if you'll make it happen. It's when.
Welcome to my digestive system. It's pretty common here with Align Probiotic. You see, your gut has good and bad bacteria. When you get off balance, you may feel it. The bloating, the gas. But Align helps me trust my gut again.
Plus, it's recommended by doctors nearly 2 times more than any other probiotic brand.
Just one a day naturally helps promote a balanced gut and soothe occasional bloating, gas, and discomfort. Align Probiotic. Welcome to an Align gut.
Not flossing well? Then add the whoa of Listerine to your routine. New science shows it gets in between teeth to destroy 5 times more plaque above the gum line than floss for a cleaner, healthier mouth. Listerine. Feel the whoa.
Welcome to Allstate, where the safer you drive, the more you save. Like Rachel here.
How am I looking?
Looking good. The most cautious driver we got.
Am I there?
No, keep going.
How's that?
I'll say when.
Now? Is that good?
Lots of cars have backup cameras now, you know.
Those are for amateurs.
There we go. Like a glove, girl. Safe driving and DriveWise can save you 40% with Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
The story of the Kind Mini. We took the full-size bar and cut it in half.
So the next time it's 3 o'clock and you want some delicious dark chocolate, grab a dark chocolate nuts and sea salt mini with whole almonds and just 90 calories. It's a kinder way to satisfy.
Ziploc is designed to store fresh dumplings, so you can unlock long-distance traditions. Ziploc, unlock life. America's #1 trusted food storage bag. S.C. Johnson.
Jimmy's John's new Pickup 20 deal. Save 20%. How are folks going to pick up their order if they can't pick it up?
What you doing there, fellas?
Fixing a flat tire.
Jimmy John's, save 20% on pickup orders when you order online.
So, how many vaccines have you given to people?
Me? About 1,000. Walgreens? Millions.
I cannot miss her big debut.
With your booster, I think you'll be there for every twirl.
Got a shot so my sister won't get sick.
Way to go, big bro.
So while we're here,
flu shot as well?
Let's do it.
When you need to talk vaccinations, our pharmacists are here.
Is Dad posting a farewell to his favorite college freshman?
Nope. He's switching his choice cashback category to gas. The road to college can be emotional, but also rewarding.
With the Bank of America customized cash rewards card, you just can't stop getting rewarded.
I'm back now on a historic Friday morning. King Charles III, just outside the gates of Buckingham Palace, greeting the people of Britain for the first time as their king. Savannah Guthrie on the ground there for us in London. Savannah, what do you make of what we're seeing here?
It's pretty incredible. This is happening right behind me. I just a few moments ago saw the motorcade come in, and it's really, when you think about it, 24 hours ago, it was Prince Charles, and now he's back in London as King Charles III, and here he is greeting his loyal subjects, those who've come to honor his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II. And you see him with that personal touch, working the line. You can see the expressions on people's faces. I was telling you guys before, the feeling in this crowd is so moving. It's so quiet and sort of surprising for a crowd of this number. You would expect a lot of jostling and maybe some terse words. Not at all. If anything, it's quite cooperative, and you see people just so grateful to meet the new king. We recall, of course, that when Princess Diana died, the Queen, after some public pressure, came and did this very thing, laid flowers and greeted grievers, and now King Charles is following in that footsteps the day after his mother's death, deciding to come here and meet the people. It's so interesting that this is his first stop, essentially, on his way to London. He's going to meet the Prime Minister later today. He's got a televised address that's pre-recorded that will air in a few hours. But I think it speaks volumes that here he is, close to the people who feel closest to the monarchy because they've come here today to pay their respects.
And for a lot of us, Savannah, this is the first time we've had a look at him in this capacity, as king. And Savannah, I just think this is so impressive. There's so many people wondering how he'll reign. And this is, to me, a beautiful first step.
It really is, and it's so striking because, it hasn't always been that way. Mm-hmm. It wasn't ordained that King Charles would govern in this way, but he has really come into it, and he, along with Queen Camilla, the Queen Consort, are making this move in their very first step, and I think it's quite symbolic. I think it says a lot about the tone they would like to set about the monarchy. Now we see the view of the Queen Consort as they walk and they look through some of the flowers and the cards. If they look closely, if they bend and they read, I have to tell you, I think a tear will come to their eye, because some of the expressions here, the things that people are writing. I read a poem, a beautiful poem that someone wrote. It was a page long. That was so touching. It was about Queen Elizabeth meeting Prince Philip and him saying, "Grab my hand, it's time for you to go." And the family in tears, but happy to see her with her beloved again. So it's just a wonderful tribute that's growing out here at Buckingham Palace. And what a moment for King Charles and Queen Camilla to say, our very first stop, no, before we meet any ministers, any dignitaries, before anything else, let's go see and be with the mourners, those who grieve. They're among them, of course, King Charles losing his mother, but also they understand that this matriarch of the country has been lost, and the people really want to see him out there with them.
As King Charles III and the Queen Consort continue to make their way outside the gates there at Buckingham Palace. Savannah, thank you. We're going to take a quick break here, but we will be right back with much, much more.
Wow, we're crunching tons of polygons here.
What's going on? Where's Regina?
Hi, I'm LaDonna. I invest in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives me access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like real-time CGI.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry, I got it.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses, and more in the prospectus at Invesco.com.
Why do dermatologists choose Dove?
The Dove Beauty Bar is gentle.
Not only cleans, hydrates my skin.
As a dermatologist, I want what's best for our skin.
With 1/4 moisturizing cream, Dove is the #1 bar dermatologists use at home.
Today, my friend, you did it. You did
Today,
it.
you took Centrum Silver and took one more step towards taking charge of your health. Centrum gives you 100% of the daily value of key nutrients. So every day, you can say, with Centrum Silver.
How did Kellogg's combine crunchy oat clusters with a touch of honey, plump, juicy raisins, and tasty fiber into one delicious cereal? It took a lot of brandstorming. Get it? Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch. 2 scoops of delicious.
Ziploc is designed to store fresh dumplings, so you can unlock long-distance traditions. Ziploc, unlock life. America's #1 trusted food storage bag. S.C. Johnson.
Research shows that people remember ads with young people having a good time. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, here's a pool party.
Look what I brought.
Liberty Mutual, they customize your home insurance.
So you only pay for what you need. Young people having a good time with insurance. Young people, good times, insurance.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
So, you're at the age now where you may start feeling certain urges to buy things at full price.
You read my diary?
But honey, you should really think about practicing safe spending with Amazon. You get low prices on everyday essentials, plus free shipping on millions of items. Do you have any questions?
What is bang for your buck?
Learn all the ways to save with Amazon.
Bubbles, bubbles, so many bubbles. As an Expedia member, you earn points on your travels, and that's on top of your airline miles. So you can go and see, or taste, or do absolutely nothing with all those bubbles, without ever wondering if you're getting the most out of your trip. Because you are.
With less moderate to severe eczema, why hide your skin if you can help heal your skin from within?
Hide my skin? Not me.
Dupixent helps keep you one step ahead of eczema with clearer skin and less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
I'm returning to the game of trivia.
Capital One College Bowl tonight.
Welcome back. This was just moments ago. King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla walked into Buckingham Palace. They arrived there just a short time ago, and as you saw a little bit earlier, greeted the crowd. Sky News anchor and NBC News contributor Wilfred Frost is live there at Buckingham Palace. This has been such a powerful and moving image to see the king now shaking the hands of the folks there who are there collectively to grieve. Wilfred, can you just put in perspective what we're seeing this morning?
I think it was astonishing to see, and as the crowd started to notice that he was pulling closer, a buzz went round, but of course a buzz that also was filled with respect and sadness for King Charles III. I thought he was poised I thought he was humble, and I thought it was great in particular to see the way that the crowds received him for two reasons in particular. The person has changed that we now look up to as head of state, and they very clearly warmed to that transfer, and also it gave him a chance to see the gratitude and thanks and respect that these people have for the person who is his mother, of course, and that probably helps him to grieve a lost family member.
I was thinking about that, you know, to see the warm smiles on people's faces as he shook their hands. But, you know, how is this transition going to go? Because this is such a big loss for the people there. It's been a constant for the last 70 years. And now he's going to step into the shoes. Do you expect him to continue with this warm welcome from people, or do you expect there to be, you know, any issues?
I do, and I think we just witnessed the very first key moment of that, the warm welcome that he received now as head of state, as king. And I think that, you know, the question is, are they going to grieve? Is the transfer going to happen immediately? It does officially, but for the next 10 days, of course, we get to say goodbye to the Queen, and then the real test will come once he has to get on with official duties. But I do think there is a big difference here, perhaps compared to the rest of the world. Will the rest of the world look up to King Charles in the same way that they did for 70 years to the Queen? Probably not quite to the same extent, whereas the gap, I think, domestically will be much closer, because he now represents the country, he represents the nation as our head of state.
Wilfred, you just alluded to the next 9-10 days or so as your country and the entire world mourns the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. What are those days going to look like? Give us a sense of what we can expect to see.
Well, look, today we're already on to official duties, which obviously shows how committed he is to get on with the job. He's down here in Buckingham Palace. Immediately he will meet the Prime Minister, their first audience. In fact, Prime Minister Truss's first official weekly audience, and it's with a different monarch that appointed her. Quite extraordinary how much has changed in the last couple of days. He'll approve the full funeral plans, and then we'll see the coffin travel to Edinburgh before travelling down here to Buckingham Palace. There'll be a procession from here to Westminster Hall, where she'll lay in state for 5 days, and that's the key opportunity for people to pay their respects. Many millions are expected to do so before, of course, the funeral in 10 days' time at Westminster Abbey. World leaders, including President Biden, of course, will be there.
All right, Wilfred Frost, thank you. We'll continue to check in with you, and we'll be back with more coverage of this morning's historic events at Buckingham Palace.
There's a reason every Odyssey is named after the Odyssey. Because the world's most famous story isn't about staying put. It's about being there.
Find out who you are.
So for those who want a story to tell,
Find out, may you find out who you are.
we have a world full of places to start.
Hi, we're Visible, a different kind of wireless company, running on a big, impressive wireless network. How are we different? We exist only on your phone, so you get unlimited data for just $30 a month, taxes and fees included. Plus, we have a new plan with 5G ultra wideband. Switch today at visible.com.
Cherries. Cherry ice cream. Bath bombs. Flowers for mommy. And a little something for me.
Ever wonder what everyone's doing on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. The groom's parents, they just found out they can redeem rewards for a second honeymoon. Romance is in the air. Like these two. He's realizing he's in love and that his dating app just went up. Must be fate. And Phil, he forgot a gift, so he's sending the happy couples some money.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
Your friends are still building sandcastles, but you've already booked a hot air balloon foliage tour. Bold move for some, another day in the fall for you. Fall hard with a $3 medium pumpkin cream cold brew. America runs on Dunkin'.
Find your beat, your moment of calm. Find your potential, then own it. Support your immune system with a potent blend of nutrients and emerge your best every day with Emergency.
Well, I'm not 100% sold yet.
Okay, have you considered... It's fine, Flo. She's not interested. I get it. Not everyone wants to save money.
What's she doing?
I don't know. Renters and homeowners can bundle and save. For what? A trip to Bora Bora?